Okay, Kev, one of the things I wanted to talk to you the most is about your passion for mental health, mental wellness. We don't have to talk about mental disease because we're not professionals. But you are a professional when it comes to mental wellness and mindfulness. I love it. I love it. So, mental health can fall into a lot of categories, I guess. Depression, anxiety, obsessions, addictions. You take it from there, Kev.
Everybody has mental health, and it's just it's basically how you feel. But others, some people can feel good, and other people can feel like shit. I, for one, have struggled with my mental health since I think the first time I realized was probably when I was 14. Anxiety, depression, led into addiction.
Well, that's a way of trying to cover up the way we're feeling, right?
Now, in my early 40s, I realize that a lot of this stems from trauma, and I just last week reached out again after many years, and I'm gonna start going through some therapy. And I think this is probably the first time that I'm ready to face the fears and get things dealt with. So one thing that I know for myself, and I didn't understand it at the time, but fishing for me is the only activity where I am able to concentrate on something else and to kind of get out of my own head, and I'm able to focus on the task at hand, because my brain's firing on all cylinders, and I get in the zone. It's beneficial in many ways, but basically it's a distraction, and for me it's very rewarding, and I know that without fishing I wouldn't feel the same. So through my life experience, and then through my work, what I do for a living, I tend to talk about mental health. And the more I talk about it, the more I realize that it's well received and people appreciate it. So the Canadian Carp Society, when I got asked to come on, the two topics that felt best suited for me was the mental health and the leave no trace. And I know a lot of people don't understand what mental health has to do with fishing, or why would we have mental health on the Canadian Carp Society as a group, but it's a big part of fishing, and it's a big part of fishing for me. It's therapeutic. It offers a reward. It gives you something to focus on. It clears my head.
Absolutely.
And that's why I try to support it, and I try to talk about it. It's important that talking about it, because it breaks the stigma. I know a lot of people, no matter what the age, it's a hard topic to have. Some people are ashamed. Some people don't feel good. I'm an open book. It's easy for me to talk about. I'm not huge in talking in front of crowds, but having a conversation about it, or trying to bring it to light, it feels good. And I know often that when I put a post in our group, not often do I get a lot of reactions, but it really doesn't matter, because if it's one person that sees something that we write, or one person feels a connection to that particular post, my job's done.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I really admire how you've been persevering. You might have put in a couple posts last couple of years and then forget about it and hope people got the message. But I notice you're doing it regularly, a couple times a month, whenever there's a date to recognize in the mental health, mental wellness, everything else. You're right there, Kevin. You're right on. You're dead nuts accurate. And you're bringing it out to the open. Everybody is struggling in one way or another. And stop fighting it and admit that there's help out there for you. And the world's your oyster.
We're at a tough time. It's a tough time in our lives now.
with the social media and everything else.
I may not have the statistics exactly right, but I believe that in a lifetime, 1 in 5 Canadians would struggle with mental health. I believe that it's 1 in 2 Canadians that don't receive the help that they need for mental health. I believe it's somewheres around 200 people a day in Canada die from suicide, and not to forget to mention, there's the opioid pandemic,
Exactly.
the opioid crisis.
Well, you know, a lot of us have had addiction problems. Some of us still do in one way or another. One addiction might manifest itself into another addiction. Some people might say some are good, some are bad. It doesn't matter. We're all struggling, we're all fighting. And as we get older, it gets easier to admit. And, you know, in the past, we might have said, that guy's crazy, that guy's obsessed, he's nuts. Yeah, but it boils down somewhere. There is something that this person is struggling with. There is some baggage this person is holding on to. And until he can really open up about it, and that's where people like you and I and everybody else that is taking part of this, we can all help each other.
Yeah, one time I thought that maybe I couldn't talk about it, or I shouldn't talk about it.
Well, we were embarrassed. We thought it was a weakness. It's not a weakness.
That, and just what I didn't go and get a master's in psychology. What's important, you can't teach the struggle unless you've been through it.
Exactly.
So by talking about it, not only does it help me get it off my chest, but if someone else relates, or if something that I'm talking about maybe gets somebody to reach out and get help that they need, then it's a win-win.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, I know you've helped a lot of people, a lot more than you'll ever think you have. And if we can all stick together and treat ourselves as brothers, like I find the CCS is so great for that. So much support from everyone. You know, like I can't say I've really belonged to a group of people that are so supportive and, you know, so willing to help in any way they could.
It's important to remember that it's okay not to be okay.
Exactly.
And there's no shame in feeling like shit. And you know, where you may struggle from depression, I may never feel depression, but I struggle with anxiety.
And that's a real struggle that a lot of us don't understand. That's absolutely a very real struggle.
And some days may be worse than others. But the point is, for me, and what I want to advocate is how important it is when to go fishing for me as an outlet to just unplug, and that's unplugging from work, that's unplugging sometimes from the family, that's unplugging from reality, that's unplugging from technology, and even whether or not you catch a fish, there's a lot of things to be mindful of when you're on the bank. Birds, the weather, for sure, the water. You know, there's studies that show that just being by water is therapeutic and very beneficial.
Being in the moment and being mindful about it.
Yes.
Knowing you're in the moment and appreciating being in the moment.
And that's what's key for me is it's about fishing is about the only activity or the only thing that I can do in my life that I'm able to be mindful and I'm able to be in the moment.
And it's a release.
It absolutely is. So because I feel that, and because I feel it's important, and because, again, I've had the struggle for the majority of my life, because I advocate for people at work, because I have family, my immediate family, close friends that struggle, I find when I talk about it, it's helpful, but it's also helpful to them. And if I can show people what fishing has to offer, other than the mindfulness, just the sense of satisfaction, the thought that goes into the preparation, the reward. If I can show people that, it makes me happy, and maybe in turn could help them too.
You've been doing a great job, Kevin.
Thanks, man.
You've been doing a fantastic
I
job,
appreciate it.
and it's reaching far and wide. And now we're on the World Wide Web.
Wow.
Now, I'm finding it hard to comprehend that myself, but who knows where this might lead.
Well, I hope that through the group, I know I'm always putting a post in the main feed. Join the mental health group. I just think it's important. If you're in there and you're having the conversation, you're breaking down the stigma. It's normalizing the conversation. Even though you yourself may not struggle, if the statistics say it's 1 in 5, then I can almost guarantee that someone in this house or someone in your circle with your kids and your grandkids, somebody is going to struggle. So if we're talking about it, it's easier to accept. And if we're showing them a tool like fishing, if it helps me, maybe it can help somebody else. So that's my idea with sharing it with the CCS community, and hopefully, we keep getting we get some momentum, and hopefully can make some real change.
Excellent, excellent. Now, I'd like to share something with you right now. Being at this stage in my life, I'm not saying I'm old, but I'm starting to feel it. And along with my age comes forgetfulness, dementia, Alzheimer's, all them wonderful diseases of the brain. I worry sometimes that the younger generation don't understand where the older generation is going. Not where we're coming from. We've shared that through the years. But where we're going is scaring me. Because if it gets to a point where I can't remember anything anymore, and it is a problem. I'm hoping I'm going to have a good family circle and a circle of friends that are still going to support me and are still going to be with me, and I'm counting on their help in the future to make it as easy as a transition as I could.
Yeah.
Now that's just me. But okay, I might be the oldest member of the CCS right now. I don't know. But I'd like to keep that into consideration because myself, I have missed the boat with the computers and the social media and everything else that's moving so quick. And I am counting on my younger friends to help me out when it comes to that. And I really appreciate that. And I'm hoping that someone else can see that and maybe awaken them to, like maybe we should pay a little more attention to our seniors, and they might need a little bit more help. And I just wanted to put that out there. So these videos, like I said earlier, are a way for myself to record and document where I've been and where I'm going. And I'm hoping in the future, maybe if I can't remember my name, I'll remember the videos. And I got a feeling no matter what I forget in life, I'll always remember how to fish. And I'm hoping my friends will stick with me and we can all have a good laugh someday.
Yeah.
So, thanks for letting me say that.
Yeah. There's many benefits to fishing that all tie in with the mental health. And another important thing to remember is just the being social. As you get to be a senior, and I can say this with my own father, your world gets smaller. Your friend circle gets smaller. Your friends start to pass away. You see in the names in the paper, the obituaries, and everything starts to get smaller. And I think it's key to, you have to have a hobby, or you have to have something that you can do in order to interact. When you go to an old age home, a lot of people, they don't have things to do. So honestly, simple as picking up a fishing rod, the benefits are incredible.
Well, I've heard many times that with seniors, socializing is the key to longevity.
Yeah.
People die from loneliness.
Having a routine
Exactly.
and having a routine, having a purpose, having something to do.
Exactly.
So if I can help promote that, and like I said, even even to change one person, my job is done. It's my way of, it's my sense of purpose, or it's my way of being able to give back. And like I said, it's natural. It's. I'm just doing me. There's no hidden agenda. It's important. I feel it. I feel like I got to talk about it, and it's well received.
Well, that's what we're doing right now, and that's what we're going to keep doing. And I thank you so much for being who you are.
Thank you.
And thanks a lot for sharing it, pal.
I think in my lifetime, or in my little run here at this, I think a long-term goal that I would like to see, and whether that's locally or whether that's provincially, whether that's nationally, I would really like to see fishing become a prescription, social prescribing. Again, the data is there, the statistics is there, the testimonials are there. If we could just kind of steer the ship, or if I could try to steer the ship, and rather than, hey, I feel like shit, and the doctor writing out 4 prescriptions and say, go home and take this, and hopefully in 3 weeks you're going to feel better, and if not, come back and see me because I got another 4 pills to cram down your throat.
Yeah, that's not
It would
the
be
way
nice
to go.
to see, go outside, practice mindfulness, do some breath work, and pick up a fishing rod. And if somehow I can influence that, or if somehow we can push that forward, people will reap the benefits.
Well, you are. A lot more than you think.
Thank you.
So, thanks a lot for sharing that with us, Kevin.
Thanks for letting me come in the cave over here. I appreciate it.
And now you're fishing with the river rats. Like, if there's ever a river rat, like I said, you're probably one of the top of the list. Now, we have a couple river rat apprentices that are on the way, but first they're going to have to start catching some big fish in the river, right?
There
Yeah.
you go.
But they're well on their way.
Thanks, man.
Thanks a lot for sharing that with us, Kevin.
My pleasure.
And we'll just leave it at that for now.
This is kind of the better view.
One more bald head in here, we could have a solar system.